Welcome back to the FreeGame Producer Podcast. We got a very, very special guest. This guy worked on some of my favorite music the past couple of years, man. You know what I'm saying? Credits include Nas, Big Sean, Benny the Butcher, Don Kennedy. Works closely with Hit Boy. You know what I'm saying?
Quiet Giant.
Oh, yeah. Grammy Award-winning producer, man. Corbett is in the house. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good, man.
Yeah, man.
Good, man.
Of course.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This is real dope. Also, I found out you from like the Cincinnati area, Kentucky. Okay,
Kentucky.
Midwest love.
If I say Cincinnati, somebody in Cincinnati that I know is gonna check me and be like, you're from Kentucky. So.
Right.
Wait,
Don't
so how
forget
is that? How is that possible?
Because it's the bridge. It's like a suburb of Cincinnati.
Yeah,
much.
like so we really got the airport. Like when you fly to Cincinnati, you fly into Kentucky.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, I live right. I'm maybe 10 minutes from Cincinnati.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've been there a lot the last few months.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm from Detroit. I go back and forth. So I got friends. I stop there a lot and hang out there. So I've been through that city, Florence.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Yeah, a million times the last few months. So
That's super dope, man. We got lucky, man, running into you this week, man. I mean, you out here in Atlanta. Why are you here, man? What you got going on?
Well, I mean, we had some things lined up that, because of some different circumstances that I'm sure everybody's been talking about, but we don't need to go into.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to bust a couple different moves. So,
Yeah.
Through Sony, we've been jumping into the Dream Chaser camp.
Yep.
And we did a session here.
Yeah.
With Ben Riley.
Yeah.
Who is amazing.
Yeah, he's super
like
dope.
a dope artist, and I was excited for that session because I didn't plan it like this, but we ended up doing some songs like where some of the artists that I'm building with from back home got to get on a song with him, and the styles were so different, but it came together in a cool way. So like as a producer, that's always exciting to be able to just throw a bunch of people on and just see how it sounds.
Yeah, that's super fire, man. Like I was just kind of hanging out in the building, man, and just kind of listening to what y'all were in here doing. It's crazy, bro. So like, what's the backstory, man? Because so when I went and looked at all your work and realized what it was you were doing, man, I'm realizing, bro, like you're heavy in collabs. Like you got your hands in a lot of really dope music, man. And it seems like you're just really good at like getting with the right people, doing dope shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, obviously, first off, like shout out Hit Boy. He's the person that really plugged me into all the most major shit that I've done.
yeah.
But like early in my career of producing, I was like anti-collab.
Yeah.
I really had to learn.
I'm learning that shit now, bro.
It's crazy because I thought I was gonna be bringing more to the table by being 100%er.
Yeah.
Like I could write the song for you.
Yeah.
I could bring the whole thing, and all you got to do is just sing it or get it to the artist that can sing it.
Yeah.
And I was getting so much I was just getting blocked at every position. Like nobody was really interested in it. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And I took a trip to LA with a friend of mine who kind of opened the door to Hit Boy.
Yeah.
His name's Sonny.
Yeah.
And I started seeing like how music was really being made. Like the music that was getting to the world, it was collabs. Like everybody in the room could potentially add to the song.
Yeah.
And so I had to go home off that trip and just kind of be like, all right,
this might be the move.
I got to figure out how I got to get out of my old ways because that's just not.
Yeah, it's not what's up right now. Yeah.
Helping you go forward. So
Yeah.
I had to switch it up.
Yeah.
yeah, and it's crazy because looking at the past couple years, man, from King's Disease 2, King's Disease 1, Racks in the Middle, Detroit 2, the Benny the Butcher stuff, like you've been really killing it.
On fire.
So can you tell somebody sitting at home the significance of that? Because you could be 100%er and just kind of like maybe producing Joe Blow Smo, and God bless Joe Blow Smo, he's probably dope, but whereas collabing puts you like way out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw it because when I was first pulling up to like the LA sessions and stuff, I was like, all right, as soon as I get a chance to play my beats, everybody's gonna just go crazy and like everybody's gonna be like, oh, let's work or whatever.
Right.
But you never get a chance to play your beat.
Right.
Like whoever's the main person is playing their beat.
That's it. Right.
And in a rare occasion, it might be like, oh, you want to play some shit, but even everybody in the room doesn't really want to hear your beats. They want to hear so you got to figure out how to bring something to their table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's how I've been able to have my hand on different things because I started realizing like if somebody already does what I want to do and they got it, I gotta figure out how I can help them some way.
Yeah.
And so my mentality went from I want everybody to look at me and praise me, to who can I serve? Like who can
it's
I
huge.
Who can I bring value to? Anyone. Like,
yeah.
And it wouldn't always be like the main person.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would notice us, like the Kentucky dudes that come in, me and Sonny and a couple other people came with, because we would always be have good manners and
right.
hold doors for people.
Right.
And not be scared to go get the runner doesn't always have to go get it. Like, we'll go get it.
Yeah.
So we got this service mentality.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of started opening some things up.
That's FreeGame. And we talk about being of service, from the very
bro.
first podcast 5 years ago. We've been talking about being of service.
So
but
cool.
from a practical standpoint, how does that work? Okay, you're in the studio. How do you make yourself of service? Like, hey, I got something I could add, maybe, a loop or a melody. How do you practically ingratiate yourself that way?
You gotta be ready to just sit down for a while.
Yeah.
Typically, because you have to understand where the needs are, where things are needed.
Yeah.
So if you just come in hot,
some
people they're just like a Kanye or somebody that has that type of just way about them. You can probably just come in the room hot, figure out, you might ruffle some feathers, but eventually you'll still build up through that room.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was observing, being thankful that I was allowed to be there, ready, and when my name was called, like I did some engineering early on with Hit. I also like helped build a studio in his guest house when he had a spot in the hills.
Yeah, man.
Like, we took trip. Me, David Kim, his engineer, had just started. Sonny, we would just like do stuff like drive to Target and get tables and a couch and just kind of put that little room together.
Yeah,
just do what's needed. And
that's dope, man. That's relationship building, man. At its at the base, it's just like find out how to be cool. Find out how to fit in, get in where you fit in type of energy, man.
And honor and respect what it took for the people who are in those positions to get there.
Yeah.
I can't just go in there and expect that I should be
right
in those positions because I didn't go through what they went through to get there. So, and I think if people see that, they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. He's not messing up the energy here.
Right. Humility, man. It really works. It can take you places, bro. That's crazy. So I know that you're not just a musician, producer, you're also like a songwriter. Were you ever an artist? How did you get into that space? Because that's one of my weaknesses. I'm crazy with making music, but don't ask me to write no lyrics because it ain't, I'm pretty trash at that. So how did you get in that space and how did you get comfortable with it?
I just went in a cave. Before I came to LA, I was, like I said, I wasn't collabing. So I just went into my studio for 3 years and just got as good as I possibly could at everything.
Damn.
And I don't know what pushed me to the writing, because I used to sell beats on SoundClick.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even remember SoundClick.
Oh yeah, I remember.
So if you remember, then you probably know.
Yeah.
The game was to put hooks on the beats. That's how you would sell more.
That's right.
So I was seeing that, and I was like, all right, let me figure out. And I didn't know anybody that could sing really.
Yeah.
So I just forced myself to do it.
Yeah.
And auto-tune is a hell of a drug, and that shit can get a lot of places.
What was the song that where there was a sample that couldn't get cleared?
Yeah, you had a song like that, right? With a Nas album, I believe, where a sample couldn't get cleared.
A lot of them.
So you had to add some vocals on it.
That's crazy.
I was reading about that in an article last night on the song. So, but you learned those skills that were end up being useful.
Yeah, although it's super useful because for me and a lot of the stuff I make, it has my voice in it. It just has a texture or an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a one-on-one. No one else can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that translates through the music.
Yeah.
But even if it's not a loop I made, it's always hey, I've replayed some shit.
Yeah.
You would play my thing next to it.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah. And it's I don't know if some songs I can't say because I don't know
for sure,
what the clearances were and everything. But I want to because I feel like if you're a producer, you'll be like, damn, that was crazy. You were able to
do off camera,
sing this part and just because I can't sing like a great singer.
Yeah.
But I can figure out how to just finesse the note and put the right effect on it to
That's
where
fire,
it's in there. It's in that same lane as whatever.
Yeah.
And that skill has been able to help me ingratiate myself to a lot of people because I'm just making life easier for people.
Yeah, that's fire, man. So your style of production, do you just make a lot of loops at the crib? Are you like how are you doing it now? You know, are you making whole beats and then just maybe like pitching that part of it? Or like, are you taking shit that you have in your catalog that's dope, strip it down and share that with people? And then like, what's your process now?
Yeah, a little bit of everything, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, when I was getting on a roll with the loops, I would make sure I sat down and made like no less than 5 every day.
Yeah.
So that was my first thing on my list of things to do that day. Mark them off as I made them. That's 5.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the week, I had my 20 to 25 that I was getting, off to the producers that I work with and stuff. Now, I can't make them as fast because I try to put so much more into them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I have planted the seeds everywhere. So now I want to just give amazing loops and stuff. And it's harder to make a bunch of those in a day. You know what I mean? So, and I am trying to do full production and beats and stuff too. So that's taking up a little time. And you got to build on into that side. Like I thought it was going to be easier to just get out of the stigma of like only making loops. And I still do. I love doing that because you can make something different every day.
Yeah.
But, it's also good to be able to, if somebody already has a loop, I should be able to make the drums and
right.
Do the 808s right and stuff. Like, so I had to make sure I was good on both sides.
Yeah.
And getting those placements by yourself without being under the comfortable umbrella of all the other bigger guys, it's a challenge. Like,
it is a challenge.
It's something that me and Luke, my manager, like we've really been just figuring that part of it out.
Yeah.
But on the daily, sometimes I will go back on a beat that I thought was crazy. Like, you know what? No one's taking this beat right now. Let me just get the melody out of here.
Do the work. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the part that most producers are trying to figure out. I know for me, I'm the same way you were. Like, I came in the game, all my success came from just kind of doing my own thing. And like, I got lucky. I had an artist that I came in with, so I was his main producer for a long time. And then that just turned into other placements and other situations. But
that's a beautiful thing to be on the wave.
Oh man, yeah, bro. Like I hit licks off of that. It was a wonderful run for me, man. But now I'm in a space where like, okay, so that's come and gone, and like I'm still relevant, but not to the point where like it matters anymore that it's just me. So I'm trying to find that way to like get into spaces with people and collab and get into that, because like it really is a challenge, because now you're like taking your hands off the wheel, because you know what you think you would want it to be, and sometimes it won't be that at all.
Now it starts going over here, and inside you're like, this way would have been like way harder, but you know what? I've been wrong about that too a lot of times. Yeah, it starts going a direction I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, and then by the end of it, we play it back. I'm like, that actually is. I'd have never done that. Like, that's what I'm excited. I'm actually very excited about the way the business is going, because it's allowing it, one thing it does for me, because I'm a little older, so it keeps me able to to stay relevant with the younger guys, because like the new guys are doing shit that we weren't doing. I'm like, they're that would have been out of bounds, like
way out of bounds. Like, you know what I mean? Right. So like some of this shit is not even like musically correct, but it's really dope. It's like, how did you do that? Like, what was that? And so being able to like mix those two elements is super dope.
But having this spot is the key, really.
Oh, like, man.
You got a home base that people want to be at and pull up at. Like, this was an amazing choice.
Yeah, bro. Like that's the plan. Like, so we opened up about 3 years ago. So right now we're just finally starting to really get people in here and introduce people to the space. Like, I'm real big on just making it most comfortable for producers and writers, because that's what I care about. Like, I'm not a studio guy. I don't really care about the studio part. But I wanted to make sure that we had all the stuff in here so that like if somebody like yourself comes to town, it's like, bro, you got everything you need and some, it's like whatever. And that way, these relationships can start to build, and we can just kind of get in here and just do whatever we want. So I'm on a mission out here in Atlanta, man, to get this shit popping. So like, spread the word, bro.
Wednesday was my first time here, but it definitely won't be my last.
Hell like, yeah, man.
But this is gonna be like headquarters for.
I love it, man. That's super dope. Come on. So I want to get into this app, man. Let me reset the camera right quick, and then we're gonna talk about this app.
Welcome back to the FreeGame podcast. You know what I'm saying? We were just talking about, the studio here, and you were just here a couple of days ago. A lot of our listeners, they be really into like what kind of software, what kind of hardware you use. Yeah. What do you like to use?
Like I get made fun of because I don't use anything. Like my interface is actually I just upgraded to just like a Scarlet. You know
wow, bro!
But before that I had an inbox too.
Stop playing.
All the way up to like last year.
There we go.
Yo,
and I had like when I record people, I just have like the TLM 103 going straight to the inbox.
That's insane,
and
bro.
That's all the vocals like that.
That's
I be
some
putting
Kentucky
in like
shit, man.
Right, like straight to it. The only thing I spent money on really was I got some focal speakers, and that's like pretty much
super fire, man.
And like some plug-in, most of my loops is just gonna be Omnisphere and real instruments.
What's your favorite DAW? Like, is it FL? Yeah.
And Pro Tools for recording vocals.
Oh yeah.
I was doing vocals in FL just because it was quicker. Because like if I had made a beat and somebody was there to record, but then our engineer Steve White, he was like, stop doing that because it's harder for me to send the files right. So it was just easier for me to just pull up Pro Tools and then I could just send him the session or whatever. But for me, I tried Logic a long time ago, and I started getting kind of good at it, but it never surpassed like what FL was doing for me. So.
Man, I love where FL has what it has gotten to. Because when it first started, I wasn't a fan of it, but now it's like it's so many ways to like, manipulate sound and like, bro, like some of the compressors in there are so crazy. I'm like, this shit needs to be like put in a box.
Like
but
out in the real world.
Yeah, like it's crazy. So super dope. What's up with this app, man?
Yeah, the Melody app, man.
Yeah. So first I just want to like say to you, man, it's brilliant that you have diversified what you do.
Oh, thank you.
Like I talked to all my producer homies and I'm like, bro, the goal is to find something else to go along with the fact that you're making music.
Right.
Because we all know that like we hot sometimes we not hot, no matter where the fuck we are in the game. Even the greatest have times that are not what it should be, or what we would like it to be. But when you guys told me about this app, I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. In fact, I think I was getting some emails. or some DMs for a little while. And even in that, I'm like, yo, somebody's on point, because how the hell did they even reach me? Because I was just sort of like, what? All right. You know what I mean?
Right. It was around like.
Yeah, it's like it's getting around. And so that makes a lot of sense to me. But we'll get into that part. But I just like tell us about it, man.
Yeah,
like,
who better to do an app for loops than somebody who's won multiple Grammys and
come on, man,
who's killing it? Because right now I would say you're on fire based on the last few years. So who better to roll out an app?
Appreciate that. Wow. Yeah, I think it was an organic thing. I have a friend of mine, Jordan Crone, back home, and he's like the tech person that helped me really build it all. And then my brother-in-law, Mondo Beats, us three kind of brainstormed the idea.
Yeah.
And the genesis of the idea was I was just sending my loops to Hit Boy, and he was like placing everything so much. I was like, how can I make it even easier than him having to open a WeTransfer, get in his email, open a WeTransfer, unzip it, listen through everything, then put it in his like FL library folder. I was like, that's 4 or 5 steps. What's the like? I wish I could just somehow just send him straight into his phone. And I know you could text him, but I mean, like, he's not gonna want to answer every text. He wants to jump into him later. So I wish there was a way, and like something along me thinking about that was like, well, everybody would want that.
Everybody.
You know what I mean? Everybody would want to be able to just pull their phone out, hit one thing, and then just start hearing loops, because you might be at work or you might be.
Yep.
And so naturally, the first thing I did was look and make sure that wasn't already in existence somewhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anything, which surprised me. I was like, this seems like a simple idea. It should probably already be out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it. So,
that's insane, bro.
Yeah. Like even Splice, who's like at the top, like their app it can be cumbersome in a sense, like, because there's just so much.
Yeah.
And we're just so laser focused on the loops right now. If you're somebody that's using the loops, why would you not want to have an easier way to get to them,
So how does it work? So if you find a loop you like, and
you swipe though, right? Like you looking at a dating site, you just go, you like it, and yes or no?
Yeah, we've sort of. I never used Tinder, but like,
okay,
it's not, so that's not really my bag. But what the team has come up with is the most concise way to understand it. It's like Splice and Tinder combined. Because the interface is just like a swipe. Like, okay, do I like this loop? If not, all right,
keep
moving
moving
to the next one.
Yeah.
And then if you like it, but you don't like want to cook it right now, you can go right. And then that saves it in a little saved spot for you. But if you, like in the studio, and you're with your artist and you're going through, he's like, that's him. Let's pull that up.
Yeah.
You can just swipe straight up, and it sends to your email. Download it, start cooking it right there.
Wait, swipe up, it goes right to the email.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And so, all right, so let's say I cook one up, find what I like, and I get a smash. Like, so this is my issue with the loop system per se. I don't like the fact that like everybody got the same damn loop.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of an issue to me. That's why I don't particularly, no shade to Splice, but I don't particularly stay on there a lot because I'm like, I've been in sessions where I'm about to play a beat when I'm like, my beat's got this sample in it, and then
that's like
3 minutes later somebody played it and I'm just like, I'm out of here, bro.
That hurts.
It's just some bullshit.
That hurts.
So that's what I'm trying to avoid. So what's your system for that?
So like there's no like the list when you play through the loops, it's completely randomized.
Okay.
So if you guys are on it at the same time,
we won't hear the same thing.
Through the same, the loop, and the pool's big enough to where you're not probably gonna come across. Of course, there's like a 0.0001% chance that would happen, but it's super unlikely.
Yeah.
And Splice does also have like a randomized thing, but I feel like they promote the top packs.
They do.
So it kind of like drives people to use the same ones.
Yeah.
Whereas
for sure.
like ours, it's like there's really it's just here's this pool of music and it's just going to keep jumping around. I mean, you'll select your filters or whatever.
Yeah.
But within that filter, you guys aren't being drawn to the
same thing.
It's you're picking it out of like how you prefer the music to be.
Super dope. So we get it placed. Is there like a process after we get it placed? Like, do we like just reach back out to the app, or like how does that work?
So when you download it or when you send your email, it'll give you the name of the producer who made the loop.
Come on.
All their PRO information.
Come on.
Like, so if you have to deal with a A&R admin, you just forward that email. They got everything right there. And the app is a 10% split for the loop maker.
That is a little so fire.
It's still competitive.
It's competitive, yeah,
like
for
what
sure.
Everybody's doing, and then they get a writing credit. So, and then if you made the beat, you keep the advance. It's not like you're not breaking down the advance or anything like that. So I feel like it's fair, and it's actually one of the big initiatives for us was to reward the loop makers because, a couple of different platforms, if you use their loop, they don't show up on the song. They get no percentage on the song.
You're right.
And so that's something that differentiates us as well.
That's really dope.
I think most producers too, when they use loops, they kind of want to freak it their own kind of way anyway. Mm-hmm. So that might kind of like speak to your issue a little bit.
In most cases I use a loop like I would sample a record. So
right, exactly.
I try not to use it in the form that it's in.
Right.
However, I still have to credit it the same way. Like it's not like I could chop something up and not be able to do that. But that's really dope, man. Like I think that is, damn, that's the future. Like,
so it's like is it a monthly subscriction? How does being a member work?
This is crazy, bro. I'm thinking about this shit right now, man. Like
it just makes sense. Like, and it's just what the next progression should be of how we're all collaborating. So anyone that touches it helped make that song what it was.
Yeah.
They should at least have their name on it.
That's super fire, bro.
Be able to build their catalog off of it too, or whatever. But it's just like it's exactly like Splice. $3.99, you get 15 loops a month. I think $6.99 is 40. Yeah, and we're still.
What's
playing.
the unlimited?
We're building it in. Like we're still early. Like we have a lot of improvements to make, and we do want to make an unlimited tier.
Yeah.
And like a VIP section and different things. We're just trying to figure out what the best route to go is. But
yeah, I can see this growing and getting crazy, like exclusive loops, certain things. I can see this getting crazy, man.
Willpower,
so, hell
special.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He got the willpower.
That's my next question. We'll do that meeting off camera. You know what I'm saying? No, but what I'm trying to figure out is, so what was I finna say, man? I lost my thought.
Hold that. From a business standpoint, though, I'm wondering, like, did you have to do like a round of financing? Do you get investors? Because I know the next stage is like, I'm sure savvy investors are gonna want to get in and make this thing real big. So what does that look like from a business standpoint? How did you finance it, and what are you looking to take it to?
Well, we have a way different like philosophy on how we want to build it.
Okay.
We've self-funded it completely.
Okay.
And like building an app is not
cheap, right? Yeah,
to get it to where it really actually works.
Yeah.
It's a ticket to do. So we're happy with the fact that we've been able to do that, like just with our own money.
Yeah.
Everybody that's in it. And instead of taking a check, we have obviously talked to a couple
of course,
people.
I know somebody knocked on your door already.
Yes. It just doesn't feel right to us because we want the whole ownership, we want the whole cap table to be producers.
Yeah, bro.
Managers.
Come on, man.
Writers. And so we started doing these partnerships. We just did one with YC, Turn Me Up YC.
Yeah.
He's an owner. He's a tech owner now.
Come on, man.
We're gonna put 15 to 20 people on our cap table. Willpower.
I'm ready to go.
We're all getting in the tech space.
Like,
yeah.
That's what we want to do. We want to build it through having just the craziest ownership, but it all be people who are moving and working in the industry now. You know what I mean? And that's kind of our model of how we want to grow it. And if somebody sees that vision and might want to invest in it, like we could talk about it, but we're not super investor friendly right now because we're not giving up a lot.
Yeah, man. Nah, build it first, man. Get it where you want it, and then it's business. It'll get to a point where like it'll make sense one day.
It makes sense for both sides. So.
Yeah. So like to become a loop maker for the app, is this just like a reach out to y'all, reach out to you, and then just like you kind of vet it and figure out if it's somebody that you want to do business with? That's dope.
We make sure everybody on there is consistently good. You're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And I know we probably, if we scaled it as big as it could be, I'm not sure we could continue to do that. Like, because right now it's like a boutique.
For sure.
It's like you go shop at a boutique store, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Because every piece in there is curated perfectly.
Yeah.
Whereas like with a bigger platform, they just it's open source. So like they take on tons of stuff. You don't really know. One, you don't even for sure know exactly where things came from. Yeah. Which can be tricky.
That's another thing. People still in loops. So because I heard you listen to all the loops beforehand. Yeah, you and the team listen to everything.
Yeah, yep.
What's that process like to vet? Because there's a lot of scammy stuff going on with like.
It is, man.
My girlfriend's brother's cousin did some stuff and I took them, but I'm gonna say they're mine, but I lied to him and told him something else. Then when it comes out, it's a whole pile of mess.
Yeah.
So how do you vet? How do you like the
best way that we vet it is like we know everybody that puts loops on there.
Yeah.
And we have an agreement with them so that they know that they can't put any third party thing that didn't come originally from them.
Yeah.
If I gotta sign something to say that it's true.
To the extent you can prevent that, I would hate for somebody to break that clause, but I think that's about as much as you. Yeah,
you gotta protect that because it's crazy right now. Like too many horror stories are coming up where like you turn a record in and you think it's like just the homie just did a loop and added to it, but like that homie had 4 people help him do it. Now, because we was looking at an album the other day and was like, bro, it's like 14 producers on this record.
Yeah, I don't want to make it seem like a shade towards the person. I don't want to bring it up. Of course not. But we're literally one track. We were on Tidal, and it was 12 12 names on there.
Just now? Okay. Sorry about that, y'all.
See, it was like 12 producers on there, and we were just like, how it's like a nightmare. I would assume,
How could it work?
Yeah. Well, my
question, the A&R admin people are like,
but the beat wasn't a lot of stuff going on in the beat too.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a complicated beat, man. But my thought pattern on it was exactly that. It was like one of these guys turned in a loop that somebody used, and then you just, when you did the paperwork, you found out it was like 4 people made this loop. And then, but then the part that like kind of threw us off was, so the producer credit said produced by, and then it had like all 12 of them. And I knew, at that moment, I was just like, this is, maybe it's possible from a title standpoint.
There's a couple big names on there, and we were like, no way.
But I was like, I know like hell, like the producer royalty on this record ain't getting split 12 ways. It's no way.
Not evenly.
I don't even know how it could have been unless the point structure was like 12 points. Because if it was like a 6-point royalty on the record, I'm like, bruh, how the hell do you even?
Oh yeah, like the actual points. I thought you were talking about like the pub split.
No, I was
the
just
point split. Because what is it, 3 or 4?
It's
right?
3 or 4, man. Like 6 if you like a super producer, maybe.
Yeah, 6 would be heavy.
6 would be.
If
Yeah.
That's like Dre level points.
Exactly. So yeah, so 3. Let's say 3 or 4.
Yeah, nah.
Like that,
there's definitely people aren't getting like points on it.
Yeah, that shit was crazy to me, man. But I digress, man. But yeah,
it's the ways of it's the ways of how it's getting done though.
Yeah,
now, you know, like I'm so neutral about that.
Yeah,
because on one hand, I tried to be the 100%er.
Yeah,
and it wasn't going.
Yeah, no, clearly, man.
I saw what happened over here. It's like, all right,
yeah,
let's go. Like,
well, I just think that I definitely think that from what I can see, that business is starting to adapt as well. So like they're finding ways to make this shit make more sense. I'm seeing guys collab more, you know, because like a couple really big producers, man, are smart enough to know that. I mean, Hit Boy is killing it right now. Like he's just, to me, he's brilliant the way he's like collabing with people and like, cause his sauce is amazing. And then it's like, bro, he's picking just the right seasoning for all this shit. So it's like, it's crazy, man.
And you want to talk about somebody who can take FL Studio and just
go crazy.
Like his process. Every time I go out there, he's doing some new thing. I'm like,
why
are you doing that? What is the point? Like,
right.
And no, just watch. And then like he'll chop up a break, just use the kicks in it, pull another break in, just use the groove of like a hat from that one, then layer in a snare on it that you wouldn't think to put that type of snare on it. And that's before any loop is in there. It's just like,
bro, look.
He just constructs this crazy rhythm.
That Easy record he did this year?
Oh, yeah. Like,
hands down, my favorite shit.
Yeah.
It was just too jamming. It was
the right time.
It was too jamming for me, man. I had to take a break for a couple days. It was so cold. I love it though, man. I'm excited for you, bro. Like we talk to a lot of producers and people are doing all kinds of special stuff, man. But very few of them are stepping off into like a entrepreneurial space outside of the, making the music. So I just think, man, like with the, success that you're having and then this new development, this app is going to go crazy. I know you probably got a couple other good ideas going on too. So
probably a lot of bad ones and maybe like one decent one that may make it. But I don't know. Honestly, some days I'm like, I'm never going to start another idea again.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going to chill because it's a lot of highs and lows.
Sure.
Like even building the studio, like I'm sure
some
days where you just stand in the room before everything was in there and just envision it.
Oh yeah.
And you get this good feeling like, I'm about to create an amazing space.
Yeah.
And then you go and a couple days later there's like roadblocks and you're like,
come on, man. Hell yeah.
Do this today.
Yes.
So
insane.
It's days like that for sure.
Yeah.
That make you second guess it, but I don't know. We always have to create one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. So I got a good question, man. LA. Of all the places that you go and work, do you love LA? Is that like the place to be right now? Because we talk about this from producer standpoint. We're here in Atlanta, so a certain type of music sort of gets made here, but it's a very influential type of music that gets made here, and it just kind of goes everywhere else. But what's crazy is a lot of styles that aren't the Atlanta style don't really live here. Yeah. So like when you meet somebody who
Detroit.
Yeah, like you got like a Needles or myself or just people who just kind of do more than one thing. We're not as popular as what the sound of Atlanta is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What's it like in LA?
I don't really like hardly know that much about LA because like, when I go there, I just
so you don't live there.
Nah, I just go to my.
Shit, I'm tripping, bro.
I go to my B&B.
Yeah.
I go to the studio. You know, I eat all my meals mostly at the studios.
I get it.
I go back. Like I just stay out. I'm out of the way. Like
okay. Well, in that case, I already.
But let me say this.
Yeah.
Let me say this. I got put onto so much Detroit music in LA. That's like
you on T Grizzly albums. Big
but
Sean.
even like Rio.
Oh yeah.
Like all the up and coming dudes that are in Detroit, like people love that sound out there. Like, it's like
we had this conversation.
Yeah, I'm from Detroit, so I'm my goal is to get Will.
Yeah, bro.
Working with all of them.
Yeah,
that's like my number. If I don't do nothing else in life, I want to get Will. You know.
Yeah.
Peasy my biggest one. I won't see Will on Peasy, but yeah. That Detroit, and I know they get a lot of love in LA.
Yeah,
a whole lot.
Yeah,
it was surprising me just because I didn't realize. And I'm only where I live. I'm only 5 hours from Detroit.
Not even that.
But that music doesn't make its way to Cincinnati, which is crazy. Like, only Atlanta music makes its way up to Cincinnati.
Bro, it's this weird. There's a weird connection between Detroit and Cali, though, man.
Wait,
like
we talked about that.
Like with the Bay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get confused between.
We talked about that.
From where?
Yeah, now I feel that's because of the whole funk. The funk from like the 70s and 80s with even like Roger Troutman. You know, he went to Detroit to record most of his biggest stuff. And George Clinton was in Detroit for a while.
Yeah,
and that whole funk made its way to L.A. because they sampled all that stuff in the 90s. So it was kind of like growing up in Detroit. It felt like it was our music, even though I didn't go to L.A. till I was like 23 years old. But I feel like I've been to Compton all my life since '88, so straight out of Compton. So
they've been taking that vibe and putting it in the music.
That's crazy.
So in Detroit, you know, we thought Master P was from the Bay. We thought he was from there because he came out of Richmond. So we thought he was a Bay guy because that's how close the Bay was before anybody knew Master P. Same with E40. E40 was like in Detroit before he was national. We knew who E40 was. Oh yeah,
really?
Oh yeah. And it's funny.
I did not know that.
We get people from the Bay to come here. I know like Rappin' Ron and Bad Influence. And they're like, how do you know all that? You know, how do you know that? I'm like, because in Detroit, it was like regular music to us. So it was always a West Coast connection in Detroit. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's good to know, man. Yeah, but I don't know why I thought you lived in LA, but that's even better, man. Cause
I love folks that still live in their hometown.
Yeah, bro, that makes this extra dope, bro. That just lets like all of the people who watch our show and listen to our podcast, man, like they're everywhere. So it's like we try to tell people, man, that like, you know, be that guy in your hometown, man, that figured out how to make it
100%.
Go international, man.
If I can, let me speak on that because I think that's super important thing. I live in a suburb of Cincinnati, not a big music city whatsoever. There's been things that have happened there.
Yeah.
But the person who really like plugged me in was from right where I'm from. I didn't have to. You never know. Like you might live in a small town in Alabama, but there's people that are connected.
Absolutely.
If you can just work to the point where you're standing out in the crowd of people that are working with your peer group and just keep at it for long enough,
you'll get noticed.
You'll start to get on the radars of the people around you.
That's
Just because people aren't posting everything they do does not mean that they are not capable of walking you into a situation.
You know, that's what I like about you, man. Like honestly, bro, like we had to go digging. You know, I met you in person. And we hit the link on your bio. We went straight to your Spotify and we was just like blown away. And then we started digging and like looking at your interviews and your Billboard and all the stuff and I was just like, this dude's got it figured out because if you go to his page, it just is super light. It's like, I'm here, I do this, but I'm not giving y'all an everyday picture of who I am and where I am and what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that because you're an example of keep your head down, go get this work. You know what I mean? And so I'm super stoked about that.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And it just wasn't me. Like I tried to post more at a point.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was forcing
it
a way about me that wasn't really it. And I would rather it's just easier. I could go long term just being how I would normally be.
I love it, man.
I love that. And I want to, speaking of your accomplishments, because I went on your page last night and I was like, get out of here. The past 2 years, my favorite albums I've been listening to some of your work.
Crazy.
So I want to talk about just a little bit about your experience of turning in music or turning in. What was the process like for both King's Disease and King's Disease 2? Let me tell you, King's Disease 2, man. Well, first of all, you on an intro for both the albums, The Pressure and King's Disease. Yeah. Now, is that your voice on the King's Disease track?
Yeah, on both of them.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Wait, so The Pressure. Yeah. The Pressure is pitched up like way like.
It's at the very end.
Oh, at the end, okay.
When the beat kind of changes out and Don is on it.
Yeah.
At the end.
Okay.
And it switches to that weird like sample sounding thing.
Like, got you. Okay.
My voice in that, and then the King's Disease like all the way through on the intro.
Yeah.
Insane. That's
crazy. And like Rare, for example, Rare is like it's almost like 3 beats in one almost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Rare, Death Row East. You know, what was it like? You know, what was your contribution? What was it like? Like, did you just how do you feel when the shit was like, damn, I'm only 1, 2, 3, 4?
Well, the intro scared me. It scared me because I had gave Hit this sample. I think it was the Manhattans or the Masqueraders. I can't remember off top, but it was like a really dope sample. And he flipped it, and I didn't have anything to do with, like, I just kind of said, hey, this is a dope sample. You should do something with it. He flipped it. Nas did the whole song on that sample, but they couldn't clear it. So last minute, literally like the day before, I think, he was like, hey, we got to figure something out.
Whoa.
So he pulled up a loop I had gave him with like the guitar thing in it. So that was a layer. He had a different piano layer from somewhere else. And then he was like, all right, now take this and give me an intro on it that's like some Motown type vocal or whatever. And so I was at home when he had sent it to me. And so I just sat there for 3 hours or something and just did the little harmony things. And then I like pitched that around and chopped it within and throughout the rest of the beat to kind of make it glue into it or whatever. So I went from having like kind of a small contribution to that song to
like really getting
pretty
in
heavy contribution to
That's
it.
really dope, bro.
Because I feel like Hit can rely on me. Hey, we need to get this done. Like we need to do something and turn it back in like 4 hours.
Oh yeah.
I've consistently over the years been the go-to person to be able to just figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fire.
And what was the other one?
Rare is one of my favorite songs ever in life. Like, and how the beat changed a few different times, man. So, like, what was that like?
I love this right now.
Sometimes
Brian is like in heaven right now. Like, yo.
Well, I just realized, literally, I have a 12-year-old daughter, right? I take her to school, and I don't talk about personal stuff. I take her to school every day.
Yeah.
And we listen. I try to listen to clean versions of stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing about Nas is that most of his rhymes, he don't rhyme the cuss words, so you can listen to the clean version and still enjoy the music because you're not editing out the actual rhyme. So we listen to that. So we listen to King's Disease 1 and 2. That's like our favorite, our favorite thing to listen to.
That's amazing.
And Rare is like we both. That's like our thing. Is that's the song Rare? You know what I'm saying?
What was a crazier feeling? There was 2 crazy feelings on that one. When he performed that on the Grammys with all his like biggest songs, and then that Rare was the one at the end.
Yeah.
And the whole band like playing all the notes and stuff. I was like,
bro,
hold on.
Hey.
Like, that was almost better than like winning the category. Like,
right.
Because that's gonna live forever, like that moment. But
that's dope.
Sometimes I'll say like half the time I just get blessed with I'll fly out to LA to work to get in with Hit, and the first thing he'll always do is like, all right, he just plays through all the songs that he got with artists that has my loops in them. And so
nice.
He was just locked in with Nas, so he was playing me like through like all the Nas songs. And I'm hearing that, and the first half of the beat's crazy. But I didn't do anything on it, but I'm still just like rocking with it. Mm-hmm. And then the beat switches over, and I'm starting to hear the ideas I gave. I'm like, I have so many like
what the fuck moments, right? Yeah.
Them beat changes, especially in Red, them beat changes was like Hit. It was crazy how he constructed a lot of those beat changes.
Yeah, man.
So.
He just cares about music.
Yeah.
To a different level. And he can stick with all the young dudes doing all those styles too.
Yeah.
At that high level.
Yeah.
But he really just, when he's making an album or songs with people, he just listens to them over and over and figures out the little things he can do to make that song 2% better.
Come on, man.
Next time I listen to it. And I just get to learn a lot. Just kind of sitting there watching him just craft them. And he goes back, like he's got the luxury, if he's doing songs with Nas, like Nas comes in, does his vocals, he just brings the vocals back into the beat session.
Yeah.
And just sits there and vibes with it like, oh, what if I added this sound to it? What if I add
Bro, that's that's producing, man.
Yeah,
like it, man, damn, bro. I missed that, you know, because a lot of this right now is just like send it and we'll listen to it when we get it back.
Mm-hmm.
I respect it, but I hate it. Yeah. Because when you get to like really, like you said, if you got an 8-bar loop and you just listening to the power of the vocal or like the inflection in the voice, like now you can do shit in the track that you probably couldn't do. You would never thought of that. Like you could drop shit out, you could add shit. It's so crazy. I think that's amazing, man.
It's crazy like how much exposure has been on some of the background stuff, but it's still a mystery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's still this huge like veil over what actually happens. So like,
yeah, man. I mean, here's the real truth in like the production side of it, man, is like it's a society, man. It's sort of like not a secret society, but definitely a step-by-step society. So like you have to be brought in by somebody. Like very few people just walk in a room and like can just get to the top. Right. It's always about, like you were saying earlier, you know, getting discovered in your home space first. Like find out how to become big where you are. Then that kind of travels on to the next person. But once you get into like the society of people working, then it becomes easier. But but there's no rules. So like there's no one way to do it. There's no, because I hear it all the time. People ask me, well, how'd you get so many placements, man? Like how are you able to do this? I've been producing just as long and don't have this or whatever. And I'm like, bro, my situation was my situation. And no matter how many times I tried to duplicate it, you know, pass it on to somebody, like you can only take the parts that work for you. Mm-hmm. So like for me, it was, I came in with an artist. Me and that artist did 5 albums together. That turned into like, you know, 15 other placements elsewhere. But like, that ain't for everybody. Like some people can't get in with an artist. And then some people get in with an artist and get dropped off. Like jump ship on you, like boom. You get them on, and next thing you know, like, you know, the big guys come in and now they just, you know, whoever they were fans of, they do that work. But so it's crazy, man. Like,
it's like there's no one way, there's no roadmap, but there are qualities about people that can
navigate,
influence the way you do, like humility,
yes,
service. Sir. Mm-hmm. Those types of things give you better, like they open up the percentage chance that good things can happen.
Yeah, like, I think the key element is don't be a jerk. Like at the end of the day, as long as you're not a jerk, you should be fine. You could live in the producer community because most of us are like introverts anyway.
For sure.
Like very few producers that I run into are just like brash and need the spotlight, you know.
And if most of the time they're also gonna go be an artist too.
That's right.
Got that type of gene.
Right. They already have that. Yeah. There's a duality going on with them anyway. But in those cases, it's still like you have to know how to be in the room with them, and sometimes it means like, you know, submitting to the process. Mm-hmm. You know, I never tell people don't become a sucker for nobody. Like that's not ever the goal. But like when you're in a room and you know that it makes the most sense, man, to just play your role, then that's exactly what you should do. And those are the things that people should be practicing all the time. Like, dude, this conversation has been like super enlightening because not a lot of people understand that collabing is more than just giving a piece to the song. It's also becoming a part of the process, like learning how to play your role in that and being cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, my bass line helped this record and I'm happy with that. That's what I gave to this time, and that's where I stand.
Right.
We were talking about the other day, I did an album a few years ago with Crit, and we all know Big Crit's like a phenomenal producer, man. And I walk in the room and, you know, I've got what I do to it. And a couple of records, I was listed as producer, but a couple of the records, I decided, you know, listen, I don't need to be the producer here. I'll be the string arranger. You know what I mean? Because I knew what it meant to him. The part that he added to the record was probably more of what the production piece was. So I'm string arranger this time. And I end up with 7-8 records on the album. It didn't matter to me if I was the producer on the record, which is sort of why we were talking about that 12 names as producer. I'm like, somebody just, this seems like it was an ego post to me more than it was like who actually was centered in producing the record.
Yeah, it's almost like if you didn't do that much, like you try to hide who did what as much as possible. But if you did the most, then you are cool with everybody knowing. Yeah, but it's I've done a lot of things I haven't got credit for, and I know everybody has it.
Of course,
to get through the gauntlet of getting to a decent spot in the industry. Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say like, "Oh, that's never happened to me." Yeah, it happens to everybody.
Happens to everybody. So, and you know what? That's great to hear too, because so many people are missing opportunities because they're trying to dodge something happening to it. I'm like, bro, you got to get out here first, and like, you might get lucky and never get screwed, but like.
Some people
and sometimes screw might even not be the word. Like it's more like the
leverage. You
don't have leverage, but your lesson isn't might never happen if you don't jump out there. Because I like learned from the times that I got played. You know what I mean? It was like, but I got played a couple.
You never made noise and like made anybody, you know, like pissed off at you.
No way, bro. Like you can't play that game. Diplomacy. I mean, you know, I guess once you get to a certain point, you can stand up for yourself, of course. But like, always know there's a place where standing up and fucking it up is two different things. You know what I mean? Like there's two spaces.
That's a shirt.
That's it.
Kind of a
stand up, don't fuck it up.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely. I'm very careful about that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, all right. So, and sometimes it's been when we were discussing what the pay was. Cause like, so I can openly say like, you know, there was a time where, you know, I was able to get the 10, 12 grand a track type of thing. And that sort of started to change over time. And so I would turn in a record, make an album and be like, so this is my rate. And they'll be like, what? The fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, that's not what we're paying right now. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to learn how to, like, not blow the play with that kind of stuff, too, because if you stand on something too hard, sometimes, like, it could get weird. So I had to learn how to.
It's a whole, so, like, now you're talking about being, like, a psychologist damn near or something.
Damn right, bro. You got to read the room.
So it's like, there's a lot of things that come into how to maintain those relationships and stuff. Yeah. But I think it goes back to the qualities. Like, all right, am I willing to be humble and all these other things? Yeah, bro. And not block what might come into the future. Yeah. Some people can't.
Some people can't, bro. Refuse to.
It's just something where they can't balance the risk to reward ratio. Yeah. And if they feel like they got disrespected in a situation,
it's over.
They can't do it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, but that's cool because, you know, that just, to me, those types of people come and go, man. And, like, it is always space for another plant to grow. Like, that's what we do know about the music business is that, bro, this bitch ain't stopping. You can jump off if you want to. Yeah. Like, learn how to stay in it because
it's still going to go regardless of how you feel about anything.
It doesn't matter, bro. And don't become the person where, like, a group of people are working to keep you from it. Right. Because then it gets amazingly... You could die a bad death in that sense. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And for me, my wife always reminds me, like, because I don't care what level you're at. You sometimes see other people elevate, and you feel like you're not going certain places, and it takes a strong person to not have any feelings of like, I wish I was involved in this or that. Yeah. And she knows me, so like she'll see where I'm like in a little down spot or whatever. Yeah. And the thing she always reminds me of is like, success is not a finite resource.
Come on, man.
It's not just
wise woman, man.
Yeah, like, cause she knows. Like, if I get in that mode, I'm not gonna be, you know, I'm not who I normally can be.
Yeah,
you
bro.
know? And that's something for everybody to remember. It's like,
that's super dope.
Anybody else's success does not stop your success whatsoever. Yeah. So there's no point in sitting there wishing you had what someone else had or were in a different situation.
Yeah.
At home, listen to this right here.
Yeah, bro.
That's good game because there's so much of that going on. We can go on and on, man. I think we're going to have to do a part 2 one day.
Yeah,
man.
we definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, man, thank you, bro. Because, like, you know, very few people are as humble as you. And, like, easy to talk to and like willing to share game. That's the whole point of this show, man. And we've had some great guests on here, man. And like you just made it into like a Hall of Fame to me, man. This was really dope.
Yeah, definitely one of the better episodes for sure.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me and asking and being interested in the things that we got
fire,
going on.
man. Super good.
Yeah, speaking of being interested, if somebody at home is interested, tell us about the Melody app and
like how can they be a part of it if you know?
Yeah, any contests coming up? I think there's a contest going on right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let it run the play.
Yeah, I mean the contest we got going on is in celebration of the partnership we did with YC. Turn Me Up YC.
Yep.
And so basically, to enter it, all you got to do is download the Melody app, subscribe. It can be to the lowest one, like the $3.99 for a month, and make a beat with the app. Send it to the email. All the details are at the Melody app IG.
Okay.
And send it in. YG picks the winner. Whoever wins, we fly out to wherever YC's at, and you get to cook up with him, work with whoever he's working with for the day.
Yeah.
Put you in a hotel.
That's fire.
And you can make a huge opportunity out of that. So,
yeah.
So yeah, that's the contest we got going, and
you can find Melody app at any app store.
Yeah, it's on, we're on there. So
there it is.
Check it out.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely have more information on the FreeGame podcast about the Melody app. We're here to help in any way that we can, bro.
Sure.
If you need us for anything, let us know. We with it, bro.
Likewise.
Yes, sir.
Here.
All right, man. So, that was dope. FreeGame.
FreeGame podcast.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Appreciate you, man.